Did you see what President Trump tweeted this morning? I criticize the media for just reacting constantly to Trump's tweets and all these things. I think it's ridiculous. There's more important things. But this tweet, to me, is kind of beyond the pale. It is so vicious, so horrendous, so racist, so bigoted, and frankly, it is the makings of fascism, what he tweeted this morning. So I believe we have to start with this, and I'm going to tie it into some other things I want to talk about. The president, which, by the way, reports now show the ICE raids. The ICE raids have begun. His campaign was going to be starting ICE raids. Well, not starting, but ratcheting it up and increasing the ICE raids. This Sunday, apparently reports are showing that ICE raids, with them rounding up undocumented immigrants, have begun today, or already, and it's noon Eastern time. So President Trump tweeted this morning, "So interesting to see progressive Democratic congresswomen who originally came from countries whose governments are a complete and total catastrophe, the worst, the most corrupt, and inept anywhere in the world, if they even have a functioning government at all, now loudly and viciously telling people, the people of the United States, the greatest and most powerful nation on earth, how our government is to be run. Why don't they go back and help fix the totally broken and crime-infested places from which they came? Then come back and show us how. It is done. These places need your help badly. You can't leave fast enough. I'm sure that Nancy Pelosi would be very happy to quickly work out free travel arrangements." I wanted to read this tweet because the only thing you could really say is this is just beyond Islamophobic. By the way, he's subtly talking about Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. The three others, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, were all born in the United States. Ilhan Omar was born in Somalia. So basically, President Trump, when you see President Trump subtly defending Nancy Pelosi, which shows you even more why Nancy Pelosi needs to be defeated. That's why I had to get an interview with her primary challenger, Shahid Buttar, which we're going to air in a little bit. He is a really, really great constitutional attorney, a community organizer, Muslim from San Francisco. He is primarying Nancy Pelosi. You don't see any coverage of him in the mainstream media, so this is our second interview with him. So the reason I show this tweet, I mean, I don't need to tell you that this is disgusting. There's not a lot of analysis required. He already tried to paint Ilhan Omar as basically one with the terrorists. If you notice that tweet from a few months ago, weeks ago, where he put up a tweet of a very deceptively edited video with Ilhan Omar superimposed over the 9/11 towers falling down. So he's already basically called her a terrorist without saying it. And now these are subtle, jingoistic, bigoted, Islamophobic, and racist comments. Why don't you just go back to your hole, Ilhan Omar? You're not American. You're not American like me and like my supporters. You're just another raghead. This is essentially what Donald Trump is trying to say. And Donald Trump, you could say a lot of things about him. He actually isn't stupid. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows that he knows exactly what he is inferring by saying, why don't you go back to your country if it even has a functioning government? Then come back and show us how it's done. These places need your help badly. You can't leave fast enough. And why I felt the need to show you these tweets, again, there's not much for me to say. It's vile. It's disgusting. Obviously, it's not becoming of the President of the United States. It's not becoming of anybody. It's also wildly inaccurate. Most of these countries, Ilhan Omar, by the way, is from Somalia. The other three are from America. They were born here. Most of these countries around the world are not completely, but a large reason for the incessant poverty, the water shortages, the air pollution, the people with high mortality rates, illness, lack of education. It's because the United States is an imperial force that has destroyed many of these countries in Africa, in Central America, in South America. I mean, you name it, the United States has been there. And a great documentary, I told Jen about it the other day, that you should watch, that I just watched. It's on Amazon Prime, so you have to stomach Amazon. It's called Standing Army. And it's called Standing Army, and it basically shows how, on paper, we have over 700 military bases around the world. It's really over 1,000. But we are basically occupying other countries, polluting them, just killing people, creating illnesses. So a lot of these, Trump knows a lot of this, but he doesn't want to acknowledge it. So he just says, oh, these shithole countries and this, that, and the other thing. Why don't you go back? And when President Trump is subtly, like, he put out a tweet defending Nancy Pelosi this week, you got to wonder, why is President Trump defending Nancy? Maybe it's because Nancy Pelosi is a Republican too. And President Trump, he understands, because he played on and he abused and he leveraged the Tea Party. It's not a coincidence that President Trump started this birther stuff in 2011. That was the rise of the Tea Party movement, 2010, 2011. Okay? Look at recent history. President Trump understands the pulse of the country. He could see when the anger, the hopelessness, the desperation is real. And he sees that on the progressive side. So he is now trying to join Pelosi in stomping out this progressive uprising that you're seeing in Congress. I don't love Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on all things. Same could be said for those others. But I do like that they are poking the bear. They are challenging the corporate, progressive, Democratic establishment. Frankly, I think Bernie Sanders has to do it a lot louder. So the reason I bring this up is I am seeing it on the road. Jen is seeing it on the road. Marcus is seeing it on the road. Ty is seeing it on the road. Donald Trump, forget the polls for a second, because the polls showed Donald Trump was going to lose in 2016. The polls showed Donald Trump had no chance to even win the Republican nomination. Polls don't mean everything. There's a lot of people that don't answer polls when they call. There's a lot of people that answer dishonestly. In the Trump case, a lot of Trump supporters didn't answer that they were supporting Trump because there was that, shame or embarrassment. So the polls could say one thing. Jen could tell you, because she has reported now and interviewed Trump supporters. She's got the PTSD to show it. I have done it, and so have Marcus and Ty. Trump's base is ever strong. Trump's base is ready to come out to the polls. Trump's base has not shrunk. And Trump's base is mostly rabid, mostly, frankly, uneducated. And there are a lot of people in there that are supporting Trump because of exactly the kind of racist, bigoted talk that I just showed you via tweet. Now, I don't think racism is why Donald Trump won. I think it's part of it, but there were many reasons Donald Trump won. The states he won in the Midwest, I do not think it was racism that propelled people predominantly to vote for Trump. Obviously, there's subconscious racism. Obviously, there's conscious racism. Obviously, a lot of these people were buying into the other that Donald Trump sold them. And that other that Donald Trump sold them is the Mexicans, the Muslims. They're stealing your jobs. They're changing this country. They're the problem. Not the corporations writing the trade deals. Not the politicians selling you down the river since the 1970s. It's not the government, even though he pretended to be an anti-establishment warrior. It's the other. It's the Mexicans, the Muslims. And that's why he keeps rounding up these people in cages. That's why, he keeps talking about, I'm a candidate of law and order. Yeah, he's a candidate of law and order when it will win him political points. Not, when it comes to his businesses, money laundering, possibly sexually assaulting women. That's the crazy thing about our media. A woman just came out a few weeks ago with a credible rape accusation against the President of the United States. It was covered for a few days, gone. Can you imagine if that was Barack Obama? Can you imagine if that was George W. Bush, Bill Clinton? But in President Trump's case, gone like the wind. He now has 16 women that have accused him of assault, harassment, rape. Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month.
Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.